everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Chelsea and I make videos mostly about Disney and a couple of vlogs as well. So if you are interested in those videos, then make sure to hit the subscribe button and the little notification bell so that you can be notified every time that I upload a video. Today's video I'm going to be spilling the tea. Oh wait, I have to hold it around the other way. He has got a face. How cute is that? So today's video I'm going to be spilling the tea on what it's like to work for Disney as a performer. I went on Instagram and I asked you guys to ask me some questions, so I'm just going to be drinking my, well, it's actually coffee, but it's a spill the tea video, so let's pretend it's tea. This mug, I love it, it's so cute, but it's actually really hard to drink out of. I'm gonna hold this with my other hand. You won't be able to see his face, but it just feels so uncomfortable holding it in that hand, so you're just gonna have to deal with the back of his head, okay? So the first question is, how did your friends deal with any awkward moments on set? Like awkward moments as in like weird dads making creepy comments. The princesses just sort of brush over it and sort of try to interact with the kids more and just sort of like pretend like they didn't hear the comment. And for the people, I have made a whole video on creepy weird guest stories. If you are interested in listening to a few of them, I will link it up in the corner for you. But for example, there was a man who came into the auberge a lot and he would ask all the princesses for bisous, and it's just very awkward, and the princesses don't really want to be giving a 50-year-old man a kiss and they don't really want to be receiving one. Obviously it's not like on the mouth, but like on the cheek is like bisous, you know, like that. But still, it's just weird, it's awkward. So some of the princesses would just give him a hug, some of the princesses would just be like, ah, tu veux une photo? Or like whatever, like, est-ce que vous voulez une photo is the polite way to say it. It's just, do you want a photo, basically, or like, I don't know, they would just sort of brush past it. I'm gonna go on to the next question. The next one has said, it's not about working at Disneyland Paris, but what is your favourite live action remake of an animation classic? Ooh, which one's my favourite? To be honest, I think, I don't know, I actually really enjoy all of them. I think I'd say my favourite would probably be Beauty and the Beast, closely followed by Aladdin and the Lion King. No, Winnie the Pooh, oh my goodness, I don't even know if that counts as like a live action remake, but the, like, what is it, like the Christopher Robin? I don't know, like, you know that Winnie the Pooh that they brought out like a few years ago? Oh my goodness, I absolutely love that. Like the first time I watched it, I was crying with happiness, I was crying with sadness, I was crying because I was laughing, I literally just cried for the whole film. My family who watched it with me, they were like, Chelsea, are you okay? Yeah, like the Winnie the Pooh, if that counts as a live action remake. So the next one, is it possible to get a promotion as a performer? So not that I'm aware of. I guess you could go up into like management and stuff, but it's not really like a promotion. That's sort of like you applying for a new job. And yeah, like every performer is just sort of like on the same level. And yeah, they treat everybody the same, which is good, but yeah, there's not really any room to like work your way up in the chain. Like once you're in, that's it, and that's going to be your job until you apply for something else. The next question, could you upgrade from a character only contract to a parade contract while working? So yes, you can upgrade to a parade contract if you are a character only contract. While you're working in Disneyland, they do internal auditions. I think they're only held like once a year though or something, and I don't know, maybe it's not like, they're not regular things, but you can upgrade to a parade contract, but obviously you sort of have to like go and do that as a separate audition. And yeah, they're not common auditions and not many people get it, I don't think. I don't really know how it works, but I do know that you can upgrade your contract if you do like another if you do another audition, but it has to be an internal audition. I don't think you're allowed to go to external auditions once you're working in Disneyland. The next question is, what attraction do you want to go on the most that you haven't been on? Oh, okay. I mean, to be honest, most of the attractions that I haven't been on because I don't want to go on them. I'd quite like to go on the RC Racer because when I was in Disney, I like hated anything like drop rides, and I still do, hence why I haven't been on the Tower of Terror. But like, I think I would really enjoy the RC Racer, but I didn't go on it purely because it is like that like downwards motion. But now I think about it, I like Stealth in Thought Park, which is literally just like straight up and down. But I think because you're like facing forward, it's like a different sort of feeling to just falling. So I think I'd like the RC Racer, so maybe that one. I also want to go on the Tower of Terror, I just don't want to, if that makes sense. This was a really long-winded explanation, but I think I'm going to say Tower of Terror I actually would quite like to go on. I know that once I get into Disney, I will be freaking out. Like, it's like the same with Oblivion in Alton Towers. I went on it the first time and I literally cried before it actually went. Like, when we were like going up, I was literally crying. Like, I had actual tears. I was like, I want to get off, I want to get off. And then I did it and I was like, oh, actually that was really fun. So I think it would be the same thing on Tower of Terror, but I don't know. I feel like I should go on it. The next question is, what is the most memorable meet you've had while being friends with a character? So, oh gosh, there have been so many. I have again made videos on my memorable meet and greets. I will link them up in the corner. I've made 2 so far. But I think my most like magical memory would be when I was hanging out with Rapunzel and she'd gone to play hide and seek with Pascal for 15 minutes and she was coming back into the parks to carry on with some more meet and greets. And when she got back, as she like turned around the corner, the ACC was like, hey Rapunzel, we have a surprise for you. And then all of a sudden, all the kids who were in the queue just jumped out from being hidden and shouted surprise. And Rapunzel was just like so shocked, and it was just such a sweet little thing that the ACC had organised. And then that isn't even the best part. They started doing a dance. Just don't even, like, it was so cute. They started, the ACC started singing At Last I See the Light, and he like led them in like a little dance that they did, just like spins and like arms and stuff, and it was just so cute. And oh my goodness, like that is my favourite memory from when I was hanging out with a character. I mean, there are tons more. If you want to listen to them, as I said, they're going to be linked up in the corner. But yes, oh my gosh, I mean, there are so many magical memories, but I think that one is just like top of the list. So the next question is, what could Disneyland improve on? And it can be employee related as well, so it doesn't have to be just about Disneyland. That is a good question. I don't even know. I think like Disneyland Paris could maybe, like, obviously they're going to be having an expansion, so I guess they're sort of doing that now, but like make the studios a little bit better, because currently there are only like 2 rides in the studios that I really like, because there was the Rock and Roller Coaster, but now that one's gone, so it's literally just Ratatouille and Crush's Coaster that I will like go to the studios for. Obviously there are other rides, but yeah, and then there's like Mickey and the Magician, but yeah, I think the studios just needs a little bit of an expansion, because especially like in January there was just like nothing going on in the studios until the Star Wars season started. And yeah, so obviously the expansion, but like they're doing that, so like what else could they improve on? They could have something for Rapunzel and something for Tiana, because those are 2 princesses that are like amazing. And actually they don't have anywhere for Ariel either, like a ride. Like, there is nowhere for these princesses in Disneyland Paris. There is like a Tangled restroom in Florida, but I mean, Rapunzel deserves so much more than a toilet. There is the Voyage of the Little Mermaid, but again, that's in Florida. There is nothing in Paris. And then for Tiana, they are, I think, redoing Splash Mountain to make it Princess and the Frog themed. But again, there is nothing in Paris. So like they could maybe make like some places for the princesses a little bit more. Like obviously Sleeping Beauty has the castle, Cinderella has the auberge, Snow White has the wishing well. Like, it's not big things, but just like something in themed with like the other princesses. Okay, so quickly, I am just going to insert this from a different, I'm halfway through filming a different video, but I'm just going to insert this because I suddenly thought of something else that was something that Disney can improve on, and that is to not have horse-drawn carriages, especially on hot days. I think it's really cruel that they do that to the horses on hot days. It's not as bad in winter, but I think it's bad enough with like Buffalo Bill's show, like let alone have them pulling horses, and I just don't think it's fair on the horse. I don't agree with it. that's something that they can improve on, is to get fake horses to pull the carriages, because then I actually might go on it. The next question actually breaks character integrity, so I'm going to rephrase it so that I can still answer it. And it basically is, which character do you prefer to hang out with? And then she said, I love your account, so thank you. But I think my favourite character to hang out with is Rapunzel. She is so much fun, and I think her personality is the most similar to mine. Obviously Ariel is still pretty like excitable about things, but she's just a lot more calm. Anna, again, she's very excitable about stuff. I hang out with some very excited characters who get to see things for the first time. Obviously Rapunzel has been locked in a tower, so she's getting to see the world for the first time. Ariel has been in the ocean, so she's getting to see the human world for the first time. And Anna has been locked in the castle, so she is getting to see the world for the first time. So there's actually a theme going on with the princesses that I get to hang out with. Never really noticed that before, but I mean, Rapunzel is just like the most excitable one. I mean, Anna is as well, but she doesn't do meet and greets, so I only get to hang out with her really in the parade and for special events. So then from a fair character point of view, Chip and Dale, by far, I absolutely love them. They're so much fun to hang out with. They're so cheeky. They can literally get away with anything. Oh, and Doug. I forgot about Doug. I got to hang out with Doug a few times. It was a lot of fun because he got to be in a Tuesday guest star, and that was a lot of fun. So I did really enjoy hanging out with Doug because it's not regular, but I think if it was regular, then Chip and Dale 100%. So yeah, Rapunzel and Chip and Dale. The next question is, you mentioned the language barrier. Was it difficult for your fur friends to interact sometimes? I mean, that's a good question actually. I never really think about it like that because they don't speak. Obviously when I first started working in Disneyland Paris, it was difficult sometimes. It doesn't really matter about language with fur characters as much because those sort of characters can sort of interact with like kids, like spinning the little girls and like playing clapping games, like taking their ears and stuff. It was a bit difficult if the guests would start asking questions while speaking in a different language because the characters can't like respond to it properly, so it is a bit difficult. So yeah, the language barrier did get in the way. Obviously, as I lived there for a little bit longer, the questions that the guests asked those sort of characters are actually very simple questions, and those characters were able to respond to them, so it wasn't really as difficult, but at first, yeah, it was pretty difficult. So the next question is, how much French did you know before and how much have you learned from living there? When I first started working in France, I literally, the only French I knew was from school, and they don't even teach you like proper speaking French. They teach you like how to say the animals and the colours and things that are just so unnecessary to know in real life. When I moved to the country and I'm like, okay, I've studied French for 8 years, why can't I speak to anybody here? Why can't I understand anything they're saying? You know, it's a bit silly. I actually learned more in 9 months than I did in 8 years. Literally, I came away from school with 2 phrases. I could say, je veux une glace à la fraise and je peux aller aux toilettes s'il vous plaît, which is, can I have a strawberry ice cream and can I go to the toilet please? So yeah, they're the only 2 phrases that I properly learned from school, which is a bit sad really, that those are the only 2 things that I could say after 8 years of learning French. But yeah, I come away from 9 months of living in France and I can say a fair amount. Obviously I'm nowhere near fluent, but I can now like properly order things in French, like in a restaurant. I can have like very, very basic conversations about like where I'm from, like where I work and stuff like that in French. And I can understand a little bit more than I can say. So like as an ACC, like if someone was asking me for like directions, I could like figure out where they wanted to go and then like be like, I've forgotten the word for straight. A la derecha? No, oh gosh, that's Spanish. Tenez à droite? Tenez à droite? Allez à droite? And tenez à gauche is left. So, I mean, I did know those while I was there. And there's like, yeah, just a few other things that I can say for like when I'm hanging out with the characters or when I was ACCing, I just like learned some phrases. So yeah, I did learn a lot more and I can like speak to people, as I say, in like cafes and stuff and order things that I want in French and tell them about like allergies. It's not an allergy, I choose to be vegan, but they don't care, so you have to tell them that you have an allergy to it, otherwise they just don't care. And yeah, just sort of basic French, but I learned a lot more in the 9 months that I lived there. I also learned a lot more Spanish when I lived there than I learned in school. Obviously, I only actually did Spanish for a year in school because I did it in year 9 because languages were still mandatory, but I didn't want to do French anymore, so I chose Spanish. So obviously I learned a lot more Spanish while I was in France. That makes no sense. There are a lot of Spanish guests, so I made an effort to learn Spanish. I also wanted to learn Spanish as a language anyway. That was like the top choice that I wanted to learn. So I was learning a little bit of Spanish beforehand, so I did know like a tiny bit. I'm learning Spanish now. And yeah, so I learned a lot more Spanish than I did in school. And I learned a fair amount of French as well, but I'm still like not even close to fluent. And to be honest, I've actually forgotten most of the French as well already. I've literally been home for like 7 months. I've been home and I've literally forgotten most of it, as you just saw with my directions. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next question. I'm going to have some of my coffee because it's probably getting cold now. So the next question is, who was your favourite princess before working at Disney and is it the same now? Love your video, by the way. Thank you. So my favourite princesses before working at Disney were Ariel, Rapunzel and Tiana. And yeah, they're still the same now. I guess I like Anna a little bit more. I mean, Anna's not even a princess anymore, so does she even count in this? I don't know, she's a queen. I mean, Anna is kind of one of my favourite princesses. I also have a newfound love for Elsa since Frozen 2 came out. I didn't really care for Elsa in the first Disney, I'm sorry. I definitely preferred Anna, she was my favourite out of the two of them. And then Frozen 2 came out and I found a new love for Elsa. I still prefer Anna just because like she doesn't need powers to be awesome. Like she saves the day in both of the movies. But Elsa, do I even need to say anything else other than show yourself? That song, oh my goodness, every time I listen to it, I'm just like, oh, like the feels. I absolutely love that song so much. It's just when she's like, I'm found, it leaves me speechless. That is honestly my favourite Disney song now. So newfound love for Elsa. So Anna and Elsa are sort of out there, but it is still Rapunzel, Tiana and Ariel. Long story short. Not really sure, I've been talking about this for like 5 minutes. So the next question is, what are your relationships with other cast members? Is there any tension, jealousy, or are you all good friends? So let's spill some tea here. Yes, there is sometimes some tension. There is definitely jealousy between other performers because sometimes some people get picked for something and others won't. For example, Starlit Princess Waltz. There is jealousy there in the ones who have been there longer, and if someone who hasn't been there very long gets chosen to do it, then the ones who have been there for like 3 years are like, excuse me? And to be fair, like they have every right to be because like they should get picked for those sort of things, and normally they do. I think they do try to do it like that a little bit, but I mean, yeah, there is a little bit of jealousy and tension there from that point of view. There are also some people who are just a bit stuck up and think that they're better than everybody else, but I mean that happens in like every job. That's not specific to Disney and not specific to being a performer. There are cliques, it's very clicky. I can't even click. But yeah, it is very clicky. People make their groups, stick to them, don't let anybody else in their groups, don't smile at people who aren't in their groups, and it's just very weird, and it's like, why are you so rude to people? Like, I just don't get it. I'm nice to everybody that I meet. I just don't understand why these people aren't, like they won't even smile at you. It's just really odd. There's conflict in every job, it happens. There are some people who are going to be like that, there are people who get jealous of others, there are other people who just don't really care, and obviously there's people like me who, like, I'm happy for anybody who gets in the shows and the parades. Yes, I'd like to do it, but no, I'm not jealous of them, and I'm not going to hate them because they get to do it and I didn't, you know, like that's how I think everybody should be like. But it's just not, and people complain, they bitch about each other, and yeah, it can be a little bit negative sometimes. But I mean, on the whole, like most people are lovely, most people get on with everybody, and yeah, most people, we are all good friends. Then the last question is, could you give us some tips on how to have better interactions with the characters? So I would say like just actually talk to them is the first thing that I would say. A lot of people go and meet the characters and just don't talk to them. The more you interact with them, the more fun it will be for both of you, and you're just going to have a more magical meet and greet. So for example, if you're going to meet Mickey Mouse, if Mickey's not with Minnie, you can ask him, where's Minnie today, or where's Pluto? If he's wearing a cool outfit, be like, hey Mickey, you look really cool in your outfit. Like, I've met him as like Phantom Mickey. He sometimes does meet and greets outside Phantom Manor, and he's dressed up and he's so cute there. But yeah, I mean, like with face characters, obviously it's a lot easier. They will tend to just like talk to you if you're not talking back to them, but if you have a conversation with them, then they will really appreciate it. For example, if you're gonna go and meet Ariel, talk to her about swimming, talk to her about music and dancing, and like you can talk to Ariel about anything, literally. You can show her something that you have and be like, hey Ariel, do you know what this is? Has Scuttle told you? Like, you know, just like use things from their films to talk to them about. For their photos as well, like ask them what pose they want to do so that you can be doing the same pose, because like a lot of people would just like stand like a twig next to the characters, and so a lot of the characters will be like, hey, like stand like this. But if they don't, then maybe ask them like, how do you want to stand for this picture, and then like they can come up with a pose. Like Stitch will do like a surfing pose and Jack does like a scary pose, those sort of things. Like just ask them how they want to stand, and then you can be standing like in the same way together. I could honestly go into a whole video on how to interact with characters better, so I think I might actually do that in the future because I have so much more to say about interacting with characters. I'm gonna leave this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed it, and if you did enjoy it, make sure to give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to see more videos, and I will see you in my next video. Bye everyone.